Welcome home, where we provide information, inspiration, and motivator after motivator after motivator here on America's Next. I have Idan Shpizear here with me today. How you doing, Idan?
I'm great. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I just want to say good morning to everybody out there who might be tuning in today. And we are in for a truly successful story here with this gentleman, and I can't wait to get into it. Idan, where are you from?
So originally, I'm from Israel, as you can hear my accent. I grew
Okay.
up in a small farm in the south part of Israel. It's called Mushav Dekel.
Okay.
And
What was,
yeah.
hold on. That's very interesting. What was it like for you growing up on a farm in Israel?
Oh,
Explain it.
yes. So the beautiful part of it was, it's a very small community, about 48 families. And as a kid, we had the freedom to just wander around, right? So where we lived, we had about 5 acres beyond our house of agriculture. So we grew, cucumbers, tomatoes, flowers at some points. We had some apple trees. So we had the freedom to wander, barefoot most of the day. And also we spent a lot of time in the field working with my parents. If it's planting new fields, picking up tomatoes or cucumbers or whatever it is. Yeah. So it was good experience. The freedom was the great part about it.
You learned a lot during those years, didn't you?
No, absolutely. We definitely learned what hard work is all about. We definitely learned how to kind of fill out our own day, right? Out in the field, right? When I'm looking at kids today, you always have to do something. Somebody's watching you all the time. People always worry where you are. And when we grew up in the farm, we kind of had the freedom to wander. So that was a beautiful thing.
One of the most cultivating experiences of my life was the time that I got to spend outside, outdoors.
Yeah.
And so I can only imagine the character building that took place for you, being able to grow up outdoors, respecting time, respecting resources, respecting animals, and respecting your family institution.
Absolutely.
What
Yeah.
what types of conversations did you have with your mother and father growing up before you left Israel?
So we're very much, when we live in the farm, a lot of it was around it's kind of like a family business, right? So we talked about what have to be done, right? So when you're living the farm, when you work in the farm, you're actually in the family business, right? You see the ups and downs. You know when we're not doing good. You know when we are doing good at the same time.
Right.
So you're very involved in the day to day, and it's not only the conversation; it's the actually spending time working together in the field. That also
Right.
it's very unique, right? So a lot
Yeah.
of it goes around, what we do every day, what need to be done. If we need to send shipment, to the market in the big city, so stuff like that. This was a big part of our conversation.
That's right. The group morale is something that you all were able to really establish group camaraderie, group morale.
Yeah.
That you all pull a certain amount of weight to help everybody achieve the ultimate goal. And I think that families around the world, they seek to have that level of cohesion, that level of camaraderie, and we could get that from working together, teamwork.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I think that that's beautiful. Be encouraged out there, ladies and gentlemen, to do group activities with your family on a regular basis, because as we're learning today, group activities with the family, they establish morale, they establish cohesiveness, and they establish unity. Now, do you have brothers and sisters?
Yes, I have twin sisters that are younger than me and a brother that is 4 years older than me. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about the kosher process that you can teach us today?
The kosher
Yeah,
process.
yeah. Like what does it mean for food to be kosher? Is there something that you do differently for it to be kosher? Is there
It,
anything that you know about?
it's the way we are. So the way we kill the animal, really, this is what make it kosher. So it's in a way that the animal is not suffering
Okay.
so much. So there is a blessing and respect to the animal. And then the way you kill the animal, you want it to suffer as less as you can, right?
Right.
So it's really celebrating and doing what you do in as and hurting as less as you can the animal. This is
Sure.
really the kosher process. And then beyond that, we're separating between milk and meat.
Okay.
So we don't want to eat milk and meat at the same time. I mean, some houses have a separate sink. There is one sink that you can wash the dishes that you use for milk, and then the other one for the meat. Yeah. So the idea is to separate. And if you eat meat, you need to wait 4 to 6 hours before you eat milk. It's also, there is a lot of things that are very healthy for us as people. The way we eat, is better not to mix meat and milk.
Okay. All right. What now? How old were you when you all left Israel?
So I serviced in the Israeli army, and I finished my service in the Israeli army about the age 21. So right after that, I worked as a bellboy and as a gardener for about 2 months. Saved enough money for a ticket to come here to the US. And I had about $1,000 extra just for me to come here and live. So it's about 21 and a half.
So you knew that you wanted to come to America.
Not really. My goal was, I mean, as a kid, I never thought about really opening a business and building a business. My biggest inspiration was hopefully one day I can buy a house, right, and live in the farm where my parents lived. So I went to the Israeli army. I met a group of friends. Things changed. I also hoped to do something else in the Israeli army that didn't really work out for me.
Okay.
So at those 2 months, my plan changed really, really fast, because I knew school is not for me, because I didn't do really good in school. I almost failed in anything. So I knew I'm not going to go to college or university. So my best option was, I'll save enough money. I heard great story about America. Money grows on the trees. Every house comes with a pool. Everything is so much easy here. So yeah, so I came to America.
Your style of upbringing, from having your hands on your environment, getting your hands dirty, getting your feet dirty, respecting the process. And then you went to the service, which really, gave you even more tools under your tool belt.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people can relate to that journey in life, where you're growing up, you're outside a lot, you go into the service, you are a man of service, and then you say, I want to take my talents somewhere else in the world and prosper even more. And for you, that place was America, with no degree and $1,000.
Yeah.
What did your parents think of your decision to come to America?
So yeah, so that was a very quick decision. I think I told them, for example, on Monday that I'm thinking to go to America, and probably 10 days after, I went to America.
Right.
So they were like, okay, and that's happening fast. But look, we didn't really speak the language, right? So I landed here. So my parents knew that I'm not really speaking the language. I don't have a lot of money. So they thought that probably I'm going to be back home in a month or two. Like, okay, you're going to go. We're going to see you back in a month or two. And yeah, and it's ended up now being almost 18 years.
You came here with $1,000 and not speaking proper English.
Oh yeah, we have crazy story. I mean, we landed here, and we're in LAX, and we didn't know anybody here. When we're standing out there, we're looking at the signs, and we don't even know how to read all the signs. Like, how do we get out of here? So we start asking people, how do we get out? Like, where do we go? Right. And then the first time when we stopped at taxis, like, it was very hard for us to communicate with the taxi driver, right? So yeah, it was just a crazy story. I remember the first time that we tried to call home, and we picking up a payphone, and it was then, 18 years ago. And when you pick up the payphone, the person speaks to you first. Like, do you want to make a call? Press 1.
Yes.
We didn't even know how to use a payphone. I remember me and my friend sitting by a payphone, and we're laughing for an hour. We felt so lost. Like, what we supposed to do here? How are we going to make it happen? So
People walking past you guys and seeing you laughing and thinking these guys are having a great day. When in fact you're laughing because you have absolutely no clue where you are and where you're going.
Yeah, yeah. I
You
remember.
found you found humor in the challenge of figuring out how to survive in America.
You have to find humor. Look, I didn't know the things that I knew today, but we did finish the service in the Israeli army. So mindset wise, we can make it happen. We know that we're strong enough. I mean, we've been through so much hardship through the army, and also growing up, in the farm. Not everything was very easy. We had up and crazy downs and up again, and we lost everything again. So I already kind of built the muscle to deal with failure.
Absolutely. Talk about how the muscle of failure allowed you to build other parts of your life. You figured out how to become successful, and you did that because of the strength that you gained through the army, through your challenges. You took that strength and you turned it into success in America. What did you do first on your journey to success in America?
So working very, very hard. So this was my big thing, just working very, very hard. I remember when we moved here, we're like 5, 6 guys in a 1-bedroom apartment, right? And
Wow.
we had nothing. So, I mean, for the first 3, 4 months, we just slept on the carpet. And because it's uncomfortable and it was very cold at night, I mean, 5 a.m., we were already up and we were in the car driving down to the city. So we clean carpet for the first 12 months. So when the office open, it's like, who is available to take the first job? We're available, right?
Right.
So we just worked all the time. We didn't care how far we need to drive. If the job is too small or too big, we just drove there, right? And when everybody went back home at 5, 6 p.m., we have nowhere to go back to, right? So we stayed in the city. So if somebody called for a carpet cleaning at 8 o'clock in the evening, it's like, who is available? We're available, right? So we just worked really hard. We just did everything that we need to do to get in front of clients, make sure that the company that we work for can count on us. They know if they need anything, we're available. So it's really working hard that what help us, and saving money. This is another big thing. We saved every penny. I mean, we had times that we drove around with cups of McDonald's or Burger King, right? And every time that we drove by a store, we went through the drive-thru to get a refill. Now, because with the cup, we didn't pay for the drink.
Right.
This is the things that we used to do just to make sure that we can save anything that we can save, so we can go back and reinvest in the business, so we can buy a better equipment, we can buy another machine. We worked out of a Volvo 1978, 2 doors with a broken sunroof for the first year. So can you imagine we putting the carpet cleaning machine in the back of the car? The top of the machine is kind of out of the roof a little bit, right? So we knew that we have to save and reinvest back in our equipment or our car so we can really make money. So this is the 2 things that really work for us well.
You know, your story, if it were a plate of food, I would be eating it up. This story is very, very inspiring. That you started from nothing, and right away you identified something that you could do to make money, and you also identified a rule and order that you can use to grow that money.
Yeah.
And that makes you somewhat of a case study today. Now, how did you guys decide to clean carpets? Whose idea was that? And then how did you figure out how to do it?
So how we figure out how to do it. So we just came here to the valley. So we found a place in Santa Monica, and we knew that the Israeli community is in the valley. So we just drove here to the valley, and we met an Israeli guy. And because what we did in the Israeli army, there's a lot of respect to it. So that guy introduced us to another guy that owned a carpet cleaning company, and we drove and we met him that day. And he says, listen, you guys barely speak English, but I have a lot of respect to you because what you did in Israel. So I'm going to give you a chance. So he gave us a machine, and then he sent us out for a day and a half of training. We basically drove with somebody else that cleaned carpet, And from there on, we basically figure it out. I mean, it's
Right.
yeah, just
Right.
go out there and just do it. So we said, okay, we'll do it.
Those five gentlemen that you started off with, where are they today?
So most of them are back in Israel. Three of them are back in Israel. One of them moved to Australia. Yeah, we are the one that really scale up our business, right?
Right.
So a lot of the people, great guys, don't get me wrong. I mean, still, I love them dearly, but they were thinking. We always had the idea of a vision that we want to do something meaningful, right? When everybody else are like want to just drive a better car, want to do something that is great today, we always are like, no, we want to build something. We want to create something that is meaningful. Yeah. And that was the second part of our growth. How do we go from a carpet cleaning, right? Just me and my friend, my partner then in the business, how we go from a carpet cleaning to now growing the company. And this is like a different challenge now.
Right. Right. This is the part where you go from doing a task that's making you some money to growing an actual corporation that now has the potential to earn millions of dollars. And this is another part where we have a lot to learn. Now, how did you go from simply cleaning carpet to growing into an actual corporation? How did you scale up that way?
So one of the things my mind was always how I'm going to generate more client faster, right? So when I switched from the carpet cleaning to the restoration industry, one of the things that I noticed is the customer experience is not there. People don't really care about the customer. They're going in, it's all about drying the house as fast as they can, making sure that the bill is done right, and I want to get paid from the insurance company, and I'm going to be out of here as fast as I can, right? And when I saw it in the market, I'm like, okay, what about the customer? Right? He's going through an emotional disaster, right?
That's right.
Think about it. If you're a mom with 3 kids and your house is flooded, you walk downstairs 6 a.m. in the morning, you're thinking, I need to wake up my kids, I need to make breakfast, I need to take them to school. Suddenly you walk downstairs and the house is flooded.
Right.
Beside the flood itself and the structural damage, there is now the mom with the 3 kids that we have to take care of her. We need to make sure that we're getting her whatever she want to get, right? To help her and solve her problems. So first we recognize that. So we decide that this is what we're going to be all about as a company. The second part, we understand that we need to generate more business a lot faster. And then we heard about advertising on Google. I remember I was sitting somewhere for dinner and I'm hearing 2 guys talking about how they advertise on Google and how they generate calls. That night I went back home and I spent 5-6 hours online trying to figure out how do I advertise online? What is Google? How can I put an ad up online? I figured it out, I put it up, and then day after in the morning, I got a first phone call. And then every day after that, I got a phone call. So we grew the business. We grew the carpet cleaning business from about $250,000 a year to close to $3 million a year in less than 2 years.
Wow.
So can you imagine how fast we scaled the business? Not really, no experience building businesses before that. Just working hard, focusing on really building a strong team and understanding that we need to really focus on our client. What's he's going through? How can we help him? Because you can generate leads all day long. I mean, this is a huge part by itself, but you really need to understand how to build a support system to really support what you're saying to the client. Really make sure that you provide him with a bit of fresh start. This was a journey by itself. This was insane.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you feeling what I'm feeling right now? Are you feeling the spark, the intriguing opportunity that you have in your own life to do what Idan did? Do you feel that? Let's get some hearts and likes in the building for this story right now, because I am totally moved. I feel like working out right now. I feel like going out there, getting my hands dirty, and then scaling my business up. Now, yes, put a number 1 in the chat if you are feeling what Idan is saying right now. Orlando Riley says, awesome. You are inspiring people today. I'm feeling it. I am feeling it. Now, you said something that was very, very important. You said that in order to grow your company, which is also called scaling and growth, pretty much means the same thing.
Yeah.
That you needed to focus on the feelings of the customer.
Yeah.
And I think that that's absolutely huge. Sometimes when I go to the grocery store or I have to go to the customer service department at Best Buy, more than my exchange or my purchase, I'm looking for your smile. I'm looking for your charisma. I'm looking for your attitude to me as a patron of your business. And sometimes, more often than not, it's your attitude and it's the way that you treat me that says, you know what, I'm going to keep coming back here.
Yeah.
You know, because of the way you treated me today, how would you feel if I always come back and spend my money with you? And so when you say that customer service was key, I think that that's absolutely huge. But then you made it even larger when you talked about culture. You
Yeah.
talked about building a team of people who have the mindset of taking care of the customer and fulfilling the promises that the company is making. And that's company culture. Now, I went out there and I found a video of you talking about company culture, and I'm going to share that video and then we can break it down a little bit further, okay?
You got it.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are here with us right now, drop some fire emojis into the chat. You know, show us some love because this gentleman is giving us great keys to success right now. You scale up through customer service and you scale up through company culture. Let's watch this video on company culture.
Why be the fresh start? Fresh start is an attitude. Fresh start is a customer experience, is a customer service. The reason that we want to be the fresh start company is because we want to have a positive impact on other people. We want people that go through disaster to see the positive side of it, right? We don't want them to, you know, a lot of our competition talking about it's like never happened before, or they're talking a lot about the disaster itself, right? And people that went through it, and I'm sure a lot of you met a lot of clients. It's an emotional situation. It's very hard thing to go through. When we are able to walk into somebody's house as a company and have a positive impact, means we can give them hope. We can show them how it can get better. We are approaching the situation with more of an understanding of what they're going through. So we are there to listen. We are respecting the emotions, the disaster that they're going through. And just by doing that and it sounds simple, but many times it's not as simple because we get to the house and we are busy with our employees and how much money are we going to make and which is the insurance company, if it's cover or not cover, and do I going to get the job or not going to get the job. And we need to switch our mind when we get to our client's house, whoever we work with, we are here to serve.
Wow. Let's talk about that culture right there. You created fresh start culture. Go ahead.
Yeah. So be the fresh start culture. And this is something that, you know, every time that I work with a business owner, right, we have a lot of franchisees and other business owner, I'm telling them, bring your heart into your business. What is really important to you? What is when you wake up in the morning, really what drives you? What keeps you up? What's gets you all, you know, happy and excited to go to work? And this is exactly the process that I went through, right? So my own personal evolution is I understand that I need to give myself as a person the space, the fresh start, the ability just to be myself, just to be, right? And then when I brought it into my business and I sat with my team and I says, listen, our job as a company is to solve other people problem. It's not about us. It's not about how much money we make. It's about how big of a problem we solve. So let's stay focused there, right? We're there to serve. We want to, when we are done working with a client, we want him to be inspired. Now, we worked with clients that go through a disaster. So you can imagine when I get to somebody's house and he's freaking out, my house is on fire, is on mold. I need to be really in a position, really aligned as a person to be able to get him to calm down and get him to really see the positive. We understand that you're going through a disaster now, but you're going to get a new paint. You're going to get a new carpet. We're going to help you go through this process, but we are really here for you. So when you create that as a culture of the company, be the fresh start, it's something that we celebrate. It's something that we work with our employees, with our team. How can you be the fresh start? How can me as a leader, as an executive team, how can we provide you, my employee, my team, a fresh start? Because we want that to bleed out to our franchisees, right? So our goal is to provide our team a fresh start, to get them into this attitude of being a leader, see the positive, self-growth, self-development, growth mindset. This is all part of who we are as a company, right? So if it goes to my team, it goes to my franchisees, it goes to my client. Now we have a great culture. We're supporting each other. We want to grow to go together. We are sharing information. And that something that really drives me. This is something that is very close to my heart because of my background and my personal story and my personal evolution. And then I see the impact within the company. I see franchisees now using the fresh start idea and how they communicate it to their team. And we do a lot of things. I mean, we started the Be the Fresh Start Foundation, where we support a lot. I mean, me and you spoke about it before we started. We support a lot of other organizations that support youth. I mean, we flew to Ecuador 2 years ago to build a house for a family. So I want my team, I want the kind of our culture to teach and show people it's not about you, it's about the person in front of you. You need to make sure that you're putting yourself in a mindset of service, right? For me to be able to service somebody, I need to be fit for service.
That's right.
If you get to a house, if you work with clients, regardless of what business you're in, and you're so busy with your own day to day, you're busy with what I'm going to get out of it. I need to make money now, right? You're not really thinking about the client in front of you. You're not really hearing him. You're not really asking the right questions, because what you worry about is, can I close the sale? Can I make money? Can I go home? I have enough things to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
This is why a lot of people are having a hard time in business. This is why a lot of people are running around all day long and they're not really making ends meet. When you switch your mind around, and this is something that I learned from a mentor, he told me, Dan, it's not about you. It's all about the person that stands in front of you. Just be there, listen, understand what's going on with them, and help them reach their goals, right? And that's the Be the Fresh Start.
This is absolutely huge. I've heard in seminars and in large rooms that business is not about emotion, that you want to be as logical as possible when it comes to business, sometimes as analytical as possible when it comes to business, numbers oriented always. And what I'm hearing from you today is different. And you're saying that you should put your heart into the business, and that you should make the attempt to be in your customers' shoes, think about how they feel, and think about how they would want to feel in lieu of whatever they might be going through. And just to make it clear, your company grew from a carpet cleaning business to an overall restoration company for other businesses and places of service. And so you come in and there's someone who's crying, or they're distraught because they just lost something very valuable to them. And your company comes in and restores their facilities. And it's not just a logical process. It's not just a numerical process. It's an emotional process. And that emotional intelligence is what makes the difference between your company and every other company. So let's reinstall something today. Your heart has to be in the business.
Yeah.
Your desire for the best interest of the client has to be a part of your business model. You got to start a culture. This is absolutely huge. And then you were able to franchise it. And so it's not just Idan and your one location. Your idea of putting your heart and soul into your business has led to you franchising your business clear across the country. And so, ladies and gentlemen, if you go into Google now, it's funny, Google has a lot to say about you these days. and you type in 911 restoration, this gentleman is responsible for most of the enterprises that you see there. I am learning a lot from what you're talking about today, and I'm really endeared by your conversation and the guests that we have in the building. Everybody sit tight. We'll be right back with more from Idan Shpizear. America's Next Motivator. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern. America's Next Motivator. Hosted by me, Cedric Riley, and sponsored by the Pride Empowerment Network. And we're back. Idan, how you feeling out there?
Good. I'm excited. I love where this conversation is going.
Yeah, I do. I do too. You absolutely rock. You absolutely rock. And I'm thinking, gosh, you came up with these ideas and philosophies that grew and scaled upward. And somehow, you got mentors along the way that helped you figure this out. You didn't go the traditional route. And that's what I find most inspiring, is that so many people can do what you've done.
Oh, yeah.
Not that your organization can ever be replaced. You've left a specific mark on the world, but a lot of other people who have nothing but $1,000 in their pocket right now, they don't know all the language that they need to know. They don't know all the keywords. They haven't read 10 books on the subject. They can still go out there and make it happen.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm getting from you. And it means so much to me. We have 444,000 youth in a foster care system today. Many of them, in a vicarious sort of way, are going to get out there at the age of 20, 21 years old, and their life is going to be similar to yours. And I see this as an opportunity for us to make a case as to how youth coming out of the foster care system can become wildly successful. What would you say to a young person growing out of the foster care system today, who's trying to figure out how to become a productive adult?
You're asking me this question. My body is just because I don't know how to. If people look, we're the way we're growing up as as kids and still today, as even as adults, we keep hearing about limitation and what we cannot do. We do hear some inspiring stories, but most of the day it's around fear and we're not good enough and we're trying to get accepted and we're being judged by everybody and everybody is judging us. We as a human being, we have such a potential. We can really adapt and grow and change and really achieve anything that we want to achieve as long as we are following basic rules, right? So, if I'm speaking with kids, I'm like, it's all noise. It's not important. If you have this voice inside of you, you have this desire that we all been trained for so many years to ignore it, to put it aside because we need to fit in. There is nothing to fit into, right? Whenever people judging or whatever they think about you is their business, it's not your business. What I want kids to do is really listen, really nurture this desire. So if your desire is to be a speaker, to be a gamer, to be a designer, whatever it is, start nurturing it. So find a book, find a speaker that you want to follow. I mean, today we live in a world that everything that we need is available for us, right? If I want to learn something new and I have a smartphone, I literally can learn whatever I want. There's like zero excuses. So just nurture yourself, get insight. So whatever you want to do, if you want to be a real estate agent, Start learning who is the best real estate agents out there. What did they do? What separate them from everybody else? And start taking action, right? So even if every day, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, nurture your mind, invest in yourself, love yourself. And as you're taking step towards your goal, you're going to start learning things about you, right? Limiting beliefs will start coming in, right? And this one usually, when we trying something new, it's not easy, it's very hard, but this is really an opportunity for us to learn more about who we are as a person. And this is the point that we do not want to give up. This is the point when you push through this limitation, this is what starts separating you from everybody else. Right?
Wow.
And it doesn't have to be huge things. It can be very, very small. Like, I know that I need to do 10 minutes every day, and one day you failed. Okay, don't give yourself a hard time. Just get back to it. Just try to figure out what is it in your own mind that's stopping you from moving in that direction. And usually it's, I'm not good enough. I don't have the right education. My parents told me that I'm nothing. My teacher told me that I never gonna get anywhere. This is just noise. So if I can remind kids, it's all about the desire that you have. And the only thing that you need to do is nurture that desire. Anything else is noise.
You know, life can be seen as a journey. And there comes a time in life where you're going to have to take control of that journey. You're going to have to grab the wheel. You might even have to get out of the vehicle, and you might have to get out there and build something. You wrote a book, and you wrote a series of books, and I want to talk about that now.
Yeah.
One additional thing that I think is great about your journey is, in addition to your success, you also created somewhat of a blueprint for other people to read and to learn and to figure out how to get ahead in the journey of life as well. So you created the Get Out of the Truck book series. Is that correct?
Yes. It's called Get Out the Truck. And even now, I mean, I think it's great to share it now with the kids. I never believed in my life that I'm going to write a book. Never. I failed in everything in school. To write is something that is very hard for me. But I had a desire, and I just acted on it. And I started as a game. I says, you know what? Let's say I can write a book. What would I write about? Who is the people that I want to help? How I'm thinking that I can help them. And I started just putting it together. So the first, I think I started on Saturday. And I said, you know what? I'm just gonna write chapters. Like, what if I write a book, what would I write about? So I write a few chapters. And I went back a day after and I spent another hour. So I started filling in between the chapters. And then I did every day about half an hour. After 10 days, I had a book. I'm like, okay, wow, I did it, right? And now I have 2 books that are already out, and the third one is going to come out soon. So the idea behind the book is really it's really simplifying, because it's not that complicated. We just tend to complicate everything because the way our mind works. It just really understand and look at business as a system, right? So this is the first book, right? Because a lot of us were getting into business. And, in the beginning, we do everything, right? So we are the marketing person, we are the salesperson, we're a collection, we are actually doing the work as well. So we start seeing business as I am the business. That's it. There's nobody else. I wake up in the morning and I just reactive and I just do whatever I need to do. And what I see is when I get people to kind of stretch their mind, it says, no, listen, even though you do everything, there's a marketing department, there's a sales department, there's a flow in the business. You need to bring X amount of clients. You need to convert X amount of them into paying clients. And this is how you're going to work with them, right? So this is the first book. The second book, that this is really my passion. It's all about mindset.
What's the name of the book?
The second book is How to Transform Your Mindset and Become a Self-Made Success Story.
Okay.
That was a huge part of my own journey, right? At one point, I woke up to the realization really that doesn't matter how hard I work, I keep making the same amount of money every month, right? Because I grew up with the idea that working hard, this is what I need to do, right? But then when you want to scale the business, it's not only about working hard. first of all. The second part of it is we all have an internal idea of what we deserve.
Mhm.
Right? So if I believe that I deserve, for example, 5,000 a month, right? Doesn't matter how hard I'm going to work, I'm always going to come back and make 5,000 a month.
Right.
So at one point, I'm finding myself, I have my own business, I'm investing in real estate, I have like 6 other partnership, but I'm making the same amount of money. Right? And then I had kids and I got married, and at one point, it's like, what's going on here? Like I'm working 24/7, but I'm not really, everything grows around me, but I'm not making anything. So then I realized that I'm stuck in a pattern, right? In a pattern that I believe that I don't deserve it. And I believe that I need to work very hard. And these two ideas are conflicting in me. So when I was step back for a little bit, I'm like, okay, now I'm start awakening to my own self-limiting beliefs.
So you were working harder and harder and realizing that you were still making the same amount of money, even though you were working harder and harder.
Yeah.
Put a 1 in the chat if you can identify with what Idan is saying today. You're working harder and harder, but you're getting the same amount of money. And internally, you're thinking, I deserve more. And so you say, I deserve more. Got it. I'm going to work even harder. Next thing you know, you're breaking your own personal record for hard work.
Yeah.
Every 6 months, you're breaking your personal record for hard work.
Yeah.
And you're making the same amount of money. And so we're going to shift that paradigm today. Let's make this a victorious moment for everybody who's a part of this broadcast. How did you change your mindset?
So first of all was realizing it. First of all, realizing that I still live in the patterns that I grew up in. Right? So it's very limiting belief that I don't deserve more. The self-confidence. A lot of people are not aware, especially it was my story. Right? I didn't see, because I thought that working hard, this is the way to go. And I will kill myself to make it happen. But when I start looking internal, it says, okay, wow, I have this limited belief. And I start not pushing it away and I don't want to deal with it. I did exactly the opposite. I looked at my fear and I tried to understand my fear. And I tried to understand my lack of confidence. And I'm asking myself question, where did I get it? So I start using the idea of an emotional DNA, right? What is the emotional DNA that I got from my grandparents and my parents and my environment, right? My emotional DNA is a combination of all the people that surround me as a kid. And I start seeing it says, okay, I understand how I got impacted that way. Now,
hold on. I'm sorry to keep cutting you off, but you said emotional DNA.
Yeah.
You came up with that yourself?
I don't know.
Listen. Emotional DNA. That is a huge way of looking at who you are today. Check it. You've got regular DNA, but you've also got emotional DNA.
Yep.
And sometimes introspection, looking within, evaluating yourself, it means taking a look at your emotional DNA. I think that's a great term, and we're going to expose that today on the show. Emotional DNA. That's absolutely huge. Go ahead.
Yes. So when I start looking at my emotional DNA, not running away from it, because this is very, very important to the people listening now. Don't run away from your fears. Don't run away from your pains. Shine light on them. Try to understand it, because this is the crazy part. When you put lights on your fears, when you really try to go deeper, go into the fear, don't go away from the fear, that will dissolve itself. Right? So the way I'm trying to explain to people is, if I look at myself as a river, for example, right? And there's a flow of water in the river. Every time that you have a trauma as a kid, a limited belief is like another rock that goes to the river. So now the water is not flowing, right? The water need to go right, need to go left. The flow is not where it's supposed to be. So all these traumas that you have in life is like rocks that are stopping the water from flowing in the river.
That's right.
What most people do, they're trying to ignore the rocks. They're trying to ignore the traumas because it's very hard to go through it. But every time that you shine light on a trauma, when you actually face that fear, that rock, that trauma disappear, dissolve.
Absolutely.
And then the flow in the river is much better and stronger. So everything become a lot easier in life. So now, once I went through that process, and this was a very long process, right? Because I understand now that it's not about how hard I work on the external world, is about how hard I work on my internal work.
That's
So
right.
for the past 10, 15 years, most of my work is figure out what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that my mindset is everything, right? If I get my mindset to a certain flow, to openness, to self-love, to respect of others, to be able to work with other people and really truly collaborate and be open and hearing other people, then everything went through a huge shift. My business just grew so fast and I didn't work harder, right? So the people out there that are having a hard time, 90% of it is because of your mindset, not because of your hard work.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So let me get this straight. What you're telling me today is that people who are not paying attention to their personal trauma, they're not paying attention to their emotional DNA. They go out here and they do their best to become successful and trust and believe me, you're working hard. You're working hard and you're having some success. And you're wondering why you're not getting to, you know, the multitude of success that you know that you're capable of. You know these people. It might be you, it might be me, but we are out here, people who are working really hard, but you're not quite getting where you know that you can be mentally. And what Idan is saying today is that you've got to get that baggage off of you so that you can really be a top performer.
Yep.
This is almost like sobriety in a sense. You can't be sober when you have the trauma of your past experiences, or you're always thinking about the mountain in the room, which is, you know, troubles that you might have at home or troubles that might be in your family somewhere. And so you really can't be the top performer that you really are. And so you got to do the internal work.
Yeah.
The internal work results in the emotional sobriety that you need to be able to see clearly, to be able to discern, and to be able to listen in order for you to do your best job. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, there's a research that came out that we're thinking about 90,000 thoughts every day.
Yeah.
85% of them, 85,000 of them are the thoughts of yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that means that we are thinking exactly the same thoughts every day. We are stuck in a bubble of the same recycling thoughts. I'm not good enough. This is what's happening. This is what's going on. If you're not shifting these thoughts, you're going to keep seeing the same result. Doesn't matter what you do. It's only when you start introducing new information, new habits, right? Going internally,
Right.
facing fears. I mean, every successful person out there saying, keep learning new things, because learning new things, that mean new thoughts, that means new opportunities.
That's right.
Right? People that don't do good is first, there is a personal limitation that is a huge one. And that also stopping them from getting insight, right? It's all about getting insight about yourself, insight about your competition, insight about your client. That will separate you from everybody else, right? So
Absolutely.
go get insight by reading a book, by asking smart questions, your customers, and ask smart question of yourself, right? So this is what
Absolutely.
I think about.
For sure. I hope that you all can see the picture that we're painting right now, which is that your limitation is your lack of willingness to look within and to do inner work. But that can change today. Today can be your fresh start. Today can be the day where you begin to do the internal work. Guess what? You've got more power than you realize. You have the power to take a walk in your mind and delete memories that are not helpful. You have the power to take a walk in your mind and delete the comments, the definitions of words, anything that's not helping you move forward to a better tomorrow. You have the power to take that walk in your mind and delete those things so that tomorrow you can be that much more clear-minded in order for you to really be a top performer. So every single day, make sure that you're working on yourself just a little bit. Like we said, yeah, you can move the mountain one rock at a time. You don't have to try to go in there and clear out the whole storehouse in 1 hour. That's not what we're saying. If you take 1 hour a day, go inside and work on your mind, delete things that aren't helpful to you. And then when you're doing that, you replace them with new, fresh ideas.
Yes.
You at the same time that you delete, you replace, delete and replace. This is what it means to be a human being, is that you can be human. You can change the hues. You can go from a pale yellow, it's not looking too bright, to a bright, brilliant, profound yellow that now makes you look like a star. That's the choice that you have in life.
Yes.
You can make yourself brighter. That's the choice that you have. And I'm very inspired at the terms that you use today. And this has just been a very colorful conversation that we've had so far. Idan, what's next for you? What's next for you?
My big thing, and it's always this is the work that I do. It's how can I stretch myself more, right? Because I know that as I'm evolving, as I'm stretching, I'm being an example to the rest of my team, right? What other risks can we take? What other areas can we explore, right? If it's writing books, sharing more information, growing the foundation, growing our franchise organization. This is something that we do every day. I want to find more fulfillment. Of course, I want to find more financial success. My big belief that they both need to come together, right? I saw enough people that have just financial success without fulfillment. And this is a terrible thing, because then you get to a place and you understand that life are empty if you don't find your fulfillment as a human being, right?
Sure.
So for me is keep exploring, keep growing, keep expanding as a person. And as I get to share more, right? As I get to speak with people like you, right? We learn from each other, we share information. Hopefully we can collaborate and now do other big things together.
That's right.
So that is a big thing for me. I mean, as long as I put myself in a position that my success depended on other people's success, and this is how I find my own success, I'm so blessed.
Sure. Right before the end of the show, I got to shake up the room a little bit and ask you a tough question.
Yeah.
Do you look at world markets, at how our world is changing, and how other countries are doing business in your respective field? So like in the restoration building, in the restoration business, do you look at the way that other companies and countries are advancing in that area and then apply it to your business?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm always looking for trends. I'm always looking for. So this is my view of it. I know there's one thing that I know that will happen, and this is change, right? And I think change is a great thing. I don't think there's nothing bad about change. This is part of evolution. We want to change. We need to change. This is a beautiful thing. So I want to ride the wave, right? So whenever I see change, whenever I see new trends, I'm always studying and seeing what's going on, how it's going to impact the business, how it's going to help us innovate more, right?
Okay.
So yes, I'm always keeping my eyes on top of it because it's really interesting to me as well. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
We are down to the final 30 seconds of the show. Just got a few questions for you. 30 seconds. The first, what is survival to you?
Survival, as long as I can put a roof on my family and feed them, that's survival. And as long as I have room for creativity, right? To keep exploring, keep being out there. We really don't need more than that.
What is success to you?
Find fulfillment and financial success together. That's success for me.
What is greatness to you?
To be able to find the greatness in other people. That's, I think, greatness. When I can be there and be part of other people finding their own greatness, this, I think, the biggest thing that I can dream of.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, put your crown emojis into the chat. We are giving you your respect today. And your name is Idan Shpizear. I got to get that right. Idan Shpizear.
You got?
Okay, that's very important to me. We're giving you your respect today while you can still receive it. And we're giving you your crown today while you can still receive it as well. Ladies and gentlemen, put your crown emojis into the chat. We got crowns coming in for you. And we are letting you know, Idan Shpizear, that you are America's next motivator. All right?
Thanks
for stopping by.
Absolutely. Thank you. Really enjoyed the conversation. And I love what you do. I think what you do is absolutely beautiful. So thank you for that.
Without a doubt. I'll talk to you soon, all right?
Bye for now.
Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Each and every episode of America's Next Motivator is going to have something here for you. All you've got to do, just like you did today, is stop by and pick it up.